Hi everyone, welcome back to Acres of Clay. Today's video is going to be a little bit different from the normal farm homesteading style that you're used to. Today I'm going to be making cheese, and I thought a lot of you have a desire to be self-sustainable, do-it-yourself type of people, and I have not shown you guys a cheese recipe yet. So I thought today would be a perfect day for me to share this with you. This is going to be a beginner cheese, so anybody can make this. You don't need any special tools or ingredients for this cheese. This cheese is called a fresh cheese. It is called Queso Blanko. There's actually many names for this cheese. There's Indian pannier. There is farmer cheese, pot cheese, bag cheese, cork. So there's several different names for this. We do call it Queso Blanko, or we sometimes call it fresh cheese, farmer's cheese. Whatever you want to call it, this is what it is. And all the ingredients is milk and a little bit of white vinegar. So I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to be using 1 gallon of milk today, which will make 1 pound of cheese. Now the milk that I'm making is fresh, it's raw, but you can use any type of store-bought milk. You can use like 0.5%, whole, whatever else there is. The only thing you can't use is an ultra pasteurized milk. That will not work. I don't think that the coagulation works. I'm not really sure. I've never used it. I've actually never used store-bought milk to make this cheese, but I know a lot of people who have, and it works fine for them. So just make sure that it's not ultra pasteurized, and you should be fine. You can use pasteurized, homogenized, or anything like that. You can also use goat milk. I think you can use sheep also. I've never used sheep, but I've done this in goat and I've done it in cows, so works well. So I have 1 gallon of milk here, and I'm going to pour it in a big stainless steel pot, and we're going to put this over the fire because this needs to get hot. One thing I want to remind you is when you're making cheeses, you always want to start with sterile utensils. So your pans need to be sterilized. Your spoons, whatever you're using, need to be sterilized. I also have some cheesecloth that is sterilizing, and there is going to be a note. I'll talk about the cheesecloth a little bit later in the video on what to use and what not to use. But for now, I am going to pour my milk into my stainless steel pot. So I don't skim the cream off. I don't do anything other than just get it out of the bulk tank. Now that is not quite a full gallon, so I'm gonna use a little bit more. Honestly, it doesn't matter. I'm not really great with measurements, but I know this is gonna be about a gallon because it's about half full, and this is a 2 gallon pot is what it is. Okay, so we're at the stove and I have the heat on, probably a medium to high heat, as long as you keep stirring this. The last thing you're going to want to do is scald your milk. That would be bad. So you just need to keep stirring it. This is kind of important here where you need to keep an eye out on it, because milk does scald if it gets too hot on the bottom without stirring it. We are going to heat this milk to about 185 to 190, so it's just under boiling. I do not have a thermometer right now. I used to have a few really good digital thermometers that did instant read, but I don't know, I think the batteries died or something and they no longer work or aren't very accurate. Maybe it's the accuracy. When you are working with cheese making, you have to have a very accurate thermometer when it comes to working with cultures. This cheese does not have rennet in it, and it does not have any bacterial cultures, so we don't have to worry about it quite so much. And I kind of know what 185 to 190 degrees looks like, and I know it's gonna work. So if you are not familiar with it, or you don't know the temperatures, make sure you use a good thermometer and bring your milk up to 185 degrees before we add the white vinegar. Here's a few things to know about cheese, or this cheese. You don't have to use just white vinegar. You could use apple cider vinegar. You can use lemon juice, or you could use citric acid, food grade citric acid, all of which work really well. I just prefer using vinegar because it's cheap. I always have it on hand, and I don't know, it's easy to use. I've had great success with it. I've never had a failure with using vinegar. So this is called an unripe cheese, where we don't let it go through any aging process. It has to be eaten fresh. It is also very perishable, so it needs to be refrigerated and eaten probably within 3 to 5 days, maybe a week would be the length. This kind of cheese, we normally will eat this fresh with crackers, or you can use it to cook with. It is not a melting cheese though, so that's something else that you need to remember. If you want a melting cheese, then you need to go with like a mozzarella or something that has the melting ability. Waiting for the milk to heat is actually what takes the longest for this cheese. Once it's up to heat, we're gonna add 1/4 cup of vinegar. I'm gonna show you how to do that. Then we're gonna let it set for 5 minutes, and then we're gonna stir it for 5 minutes. And then we'll drain off all that curds that forms, and we'll let that drain for maybe a half hour. You can eat it like that, or you can go further and press it so it makes more of a sliceable cheese if you want it for sandwiches, or just eat it as a slice of cheese on a cracker instead of crumbly. Because if you don't press it, it can be very crumbly type of cheese that you can use on salads or in your soups. Okay, while the milk is still heating, I have it heating actually kind of low at the moment so I can take care of the rest of this stuff. I went out to the garden and I picked these chives. I have a whole patch of chives, and they're growing rapidly right now. And so what I'm gonna do is, this cheese, I'm gonna add chives to it. You can add any type of herbs or spices that you like. You can add jalapenos, chives, dill. So anything that your family or your taste buds enjoy eating, I would give it a try. I've made all kinds, but in the springtime when my chives are growing rapidly, we like to put chives in the cheese, so it tastes really, really good. So I'm just taking a pair of scissors and cutting them up. So I'm just taking a pair of scissors and just chopping these up kind of small. You don't want gigantic pieces. And it's up to you how much you actually want to put in your cheese. I'm not going to probably use all of this, of course. We'd have more chives than cheese. But, use your own judgment. A couple tablespoons maybe for a pound. I don't know. That's more than enough, I know this. So this is what I've got. We're gonna add this and some salt when we strain the curds from the whey. That's when we'll add this. All right, so I think we are right around 180, 185 probably. It's pretty hot to touch, but let me show you what it looks like. It's kind of foamy, bubbly, but it's not boiling, okay? And when I stick my finger in it, it's definitely hot. So at this point, I'm going to add the vinegar. So for the vinegar, what you're going to need, for every gallon of milk you use, you need 1/4 cup of vinegar. And that's what I have right here. It's just 1/4 of a cup. And I'm gonna pour this in. And you kind of want to do it, pour it all around, or what you could do, I'm not even showing, can you even see what I'm doing? Or what you could do is stir it while you're pouring it. That way it's going to get a good, even mixture. The vinegar is going to get throughout the milk. At this point on your spoon or ladle or whatever you're using, you're going to see separation start already. But we're going to just let this sit. I'm going to stir it just a little bit. We're going to let this sit for about 5 minutes so that the vinegar can do its thing. Okay? And I'll bring you back in 5 minutes and show you what's next. Okay, so just this is what it looks like now that I stopped stirring it, and I'm going to let it set for about 5 minutes. Ooh, steamy. Let me let that clear. You can see the separation like this. See that mass there? Yeah, we're going to let this sit just for a little bit more and do its thing. Alright, now while that's waiting for about 5 minutes before I start to stir it, I am getting my colander ready with my cheesecloth. And let me talk about cheesecloths. Cheesecloths are not all created equally. This is a very tightly woven cheesecloth. It's an actual cheesecloth. But you can buy, I have to be kind of careful, I've already sanitized this. What I use actually to sanitize everything is vinegar. Vinegar water. Did I say that earlier? If I didn't, I meant to. You can get cheesecloth at your grocery store or at Walmart or wherever, but that cheesecloth this is what it is actually. It is going to look like this when you open it up, and it's very large woven holes. And this is not going to be good for actual cheese making. It's going to make a mess. Believe me, I know, because when I first started making cheeses, I used this. You're probably wondering why this is crooked and that's irritating you, just like it is me. So yeah, this is not going to work for the cheese making, for draining your whey from your curds, because your curds are going to get stuck in here and it's just going to be an awful mess. So I would stay away from the cheesecloth from the grocery store. Of course you can use it. The only thing is, this is just a little example piece I have, is you would want to just fold it and fold it and fold it and make several layers so it's actually thicker, and I think that would help. So if this is your only resort, you can't get some butter muslin, or you can't find an actual cheesecloth like I have, yeah, you can do this, but there's just that warning that it may turn out messy and you're going to want to throw the whole mess away. These I don't think are reusable, where if you looked at my cheesecloth, which I don't know if I want you to, mine are reusable, they're washable. I've used these, I've had these for years. I have several of them. Mine are stained, and that's basically because I use them for other things other than just cheese. I use them when I make jellies, grapes, berries, you know, they all stain. So, yeah, mine don't look the prettiest, but they work great. So if you can find a good cheesecloth, you can look online. I get a lot of my cheese making supplies from cheesemaking.com. She has a lot of information if you want to check out that website. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but she has helped me. I have some of her books. So Ricky is really knowledgeable in cheese making, and you can get pretty much anything you need to start making cheeses from her website. So it's cheesemaking.com, a little plug in there for her. All right, let's get back to this. I think this is ready to get strained into here. Okay, so actually I'm just gonna stir this for a bit before I strain it. You wanna stir it to make sure that all of the curds and the whey have been separated. So you can definitely see there's a difference in the whey. The whey has almost got a greenish hue, and then the curds are the solid mass. And it tells me this is ready to come out. Okay, so I have my cheesecloth inside my colander. I have the colander inside a bowl to catch the whey. And I'm gonna start ladling. So this is what we're left with. This is the curds. Okay. And then this is the whey. Now the whey is really good. You can use it in your baking. You can feed it to your chickens. You can drink it yourself. Whatever, I don't drink it. At this point we're gonna add the salt, and that's gonna help the curds release even more of the whey. So when you're adding salt, you don't want to go overboard on this because you can't take it away. You can always add more salt to it, but you can't take it away. So start with maybe 1/4 teaspoon, or go up to half a teaspoon. But too much salt is not a good thing when it comes to cheese. Yeah, it can be very difficult to eat. So I put in I put in just over 1/4 teaspoon. And then I'm going to add my chives, and I'll just add a little bit at first. If I need more, I'll add more. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take my cheesecloth and take up the corners of it and make it like a little ball here. See that? So I have nothing fancy to hang it from other than my door handles of my cupboards. So this is how I do it. There. And then we're just gonna let this drain just like this for probably a half an hour. I'll bring you back in a half hour and show you what we do next. Alright, it has been at least a half hour since I put this, or I hung this, so I'm gonna take it out, and you can see that it's definitely firmed up a lot since I first put the curds in. But now I'm going to take it another step and put it in this. This is a mold. You can use a mold like this as a basket mold, or you can use a mold like this. This is a mold that has a follower, and you can put weight on top of this, and that will help press this. But I was thinking I was just going to do this, but I'm actually think I'll use this mold instead. With this type of mold, you can either use something that the whey will drain from. So I'm going to use a plate upside down like this. But I'm going to go ahead and add the cheese curds. Now, you can eat it just like this, and we have many, many times. But I'm just trying to make it so it's a little bit more firm and sliceable. So I'm going to stick it right in here. I'm not going to line it with the cheesecloth because this one's not really going to stick. And then I'm going to find a weight and put maybe 10 pounds of pressure on it at first. You can put maybe 10 pounds at first and go up to 20 pounds. And do that for a couple hours, and then it should be ready to eat. So it's been a few hours since I put the cheese inside this mold, and I've let it, I've had a weight on it the whole time. And so now I'm going to just remove it from the mold, and it should just push right out the bottom. And it's a lot firmer. So now at this point, I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. You can eat it like this. It's ready. It's fresh. But it's for me, it's room temperature, and I like it cold. So I'm going to wrap this in maybe some parchment paper and put it in the refrigerator, or you can put it in like a bowl with a cover. And this will stay fresh in your refrigerator for probably 3 to 5 days, maybe up to a week, if it lasts that long. But this should be a pound of cheese for 1 gallon of milk. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoy making cheeses and what's your favorite kind of cheese to eat. If you like seeing these types of videos, give me a thumbs up and let me know that you want me to make more of this type of video. All right, we will catch you on the next video. I bless you.